Well, you've improved it, Hanson, but I still think it idles too rough. Hey, maybe it needs a new carburetor. Check on it and let me know, huh?
Right, boss.
All right, 12 o'clock. Let's go eat. Come on. Hey, let's go, Coleman. Come on, Coleman. Let's go.
A corporation lawyer doesn't spend all his professional life in smoke-filled, oak-paneled directors' boardrooms. He goes to his clients, especially when it's hard for them to come to him. Warden Morphy was an old friend. The luncheon was his idea. He had something on his mind, a personal matter, he said.
It's not really personal, but well, I guess you could call it that, Herb. In less than a week, I have to kill a man. Now, that's not the first man I've executed in the 10 years I've been warden, but I'm afraid Ron Davis might be the first innocent man.
Ron Davis. He's the kid who murdered the big wheel hoodlum here in prison. Ace Coleman, about 18 months ago, wasn't it?
That's what a jury of his peers said he did.
Well, do you have any additional information? Added evidence the jury didn't have?
Not enough for a new trial. But, Herb, you know I've worked and lived with all kinds of criminals for years. I feel I know a little bit about what makes them tick. And watch this boy, Davis. I can't believe he's guilty.
Look, Paul, Ron Davis's father is one of the wealthiest men in the state. I've heard that he's spent several fortunes in the boy's defense.
Herb, I know you've taken many cases on no more than a feeling, a hunch that the party was innocent.
They've exhausted every avenue of appeal.
But the point is, Herb, I don't believe he's guilty. If you'll talk with him and just tell me what you think, it'll be a great weight off my mind and my conscience. You take a walk with me over to death row?
All right, let's go.
Davis was test driving one of his races. Blew a tire and lost control. Guard! The mechanic who was riding with him was killed. Davis drew 5 years for manslaughter.
Well, it sounds like involuntary manslaughter. How'd he get here in the first place?
The court found criminal negligence. Hello, Ron.
Warden.
Ron, this is Herbert Maris. He's an attorney. I persuaded him to come up and have a talk with you.
Thank you very much, Warden.
Ron?
I certainly appreciate you coming to see me, sir. I'm afraid I'm somewhat of a lost cause. The Supreme Court's already turned me down, and the governor, too.
Maybe they're overlooking some of the facts, huh?
I don't think so, Mr. Maris. That's my trouble. The facts aren't exactly working for me.
But you are innocent, of course.
I don't know. 2 years ago, I knew I was innocent. When I testified at my trial, I knew then.
What changed your mind?
Living on the road. Listen to what goes on in here. Look, you ask any one of those men out there. Oh, those guys are innocent, too. All I know is somebody's got to be wrong.
Is that all?
No, there's this. This is a transcript of my trial, a record of all the appeals. The witnesses in here I knew were lying at my trial. And now they're beginning to make much more sense to me than I do.
If we're going to presume you're innocent, then there has to be a reason why these witnesses lied at your trial. I'd like to hear your reason for that.
They didn't like me, Mr. Maris.
You're asking me to believe that these other convicts disliked you enough to frame you into the chair?
I think it was more a reason of getting rid of me. Just getting me off their backs. The fact is, I've never been an easy guy to work with, especially around engines. I always worked with the very best mechanics, and these men in here just don't care.
After all, Herb, you know they don't come to us very highly recommended.
And that's how the trouble started?
That's it. They didn't care anything about their jobs. They just throw the work out any way they could. I think they got to hate me about the first day I was foreman.
And this is enough reason to send you to the chair?
Well, you ask any man on death row what's going to happen to him. Not one of them actually believes he's going to the chair.
What you're saying is, if they don't ever believe they'll really get to the chair themselves, no convict's going to believe that his testimony is putting you into the chair.
Well, that's right. I know that's not much of an answer, Mr. Maris. And I could be lying. At least I've got a better reason than anybody else.
Well, if you're lying, Davis, you're doing a pretty poor job of it.
You said a little while ago you didn't know whether you were innocent or guilty, but you do know, don't you?
Of course. I'm innocent, Mr. Maris. I couldn't kill a man in cold blood.
What's our next step, Herb? Talk to some people, ask some questions. Starting with Ron on this transcript here.